Over the majority of Tom Brady's career, people have talked about his favorite receiving archetype, the white receiver. Notable names that have the grace of this honor have been Wes Welker, Danny Amendola, Julian Edelman, and hell, even Scotty Miller had his time in the sun. The one I want to talk about today is one that I've hardly heard anyone else talk about. I'm Nick Abolas, and this is a brief summary of Chris Hogan's career. If you recognize the name Chris Hogan, you might be remembering his major contribution to helping the Patriots in 2016, including in 28-3, or you may be a Steelers fan remembering all the times he just seemed to be open. But before that, let's start with his college career.
Oregon State. Chris Hogan, Penn State lacrosse.
Which started off with him playing lacrosse at Penn State. He started all 13 games of his freshman year before missing out on all but 3 games the next year due to an ankle injury. In his junior year, he would come roaring back, being named to the first team All-ECAC? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Before graduating and taking advantage of his final year of sports eligibility to play football for Monmouth University. I also hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Hogan joined the NFL as an undrafted free agent, first signing with the 49ers before bouncing between the Giants and Dolphins practice squads his rookie season. In his second season, he signed with the Buffalo Bills practice squad, before being added to the active roster in December of 2012, ending his first season on the active roster with 10 catches and 83 yards. He wouldn't record his first reception until October 3rd, 2013, and would ironically record his first touchdown against the team he would have the most career success with just a year later. He ended the year with 41 catches for 426 yards and 4 touchdowns. His last year in Buffalo ended with him having improving a bit with 36 catches, 450 yards, but only 2 touchdowns. And this would be right before his turning point. Chris Hogan joined the Patriots at the perfect time of his career. They paid him a lot of money that first year because Belichick saw potential in him to be a burner for Brady, pairing with fellow receivers Danny Amendola, Julian Edelman, and Michael Floyd. He was a decent target for the pair of Jacoby Brissett and Jimmy G, while Brady was doing his suspension for the potential involvement in Deflategate and continued to do so for the rest of the season as Brady returned for his revenge tour. Hogan would end that season with 38 catches and nearly 700 yards and 4 touchdowns, before going on a tear in the postseason, playing a part in the 25-point comeback against the Falcons. He also notched the Patriots' single-game receiving yard record in the conference championship game this year against the Steelers, which is phenomenal looking back at these highlights because he just seemed to be open. 2017 would see him take a little bit of a step back with the Patriots as they ended up trading for Brandon Cooks, who filled that Randy Moss-like burner position very well, along with a shoulder injury that caused him to miss 2 months, finishing the year with 34 catches, 439 yards, and a career high of 5 touchdowns. And if his contribution to the team wasn't felt lesser in the regular season, it was surely felt in the playoffs, as he finished with less yards than the postseason yards he did previously. Funny thing is, 128 of those playoff yards happened to be in the Super Bowl loss against the Eagles, where Brady basically had to play for his life to make up for an awful defensive showing. His third and final year in New England saw the exit of both Amendola and Cooks, which would have made for more opportunities for Hogan, but it seemed that Belichick wanted to move on from utilizing him, as he got 35 catches, 532 yards on the year. That's a bit of an improvement on the year before, but he had a stretch where he had 5 targets in only 2 games, and 0 catches over a 4-game stretch, not breaking 80 yards at any point during the year. He would see even less success during the playoffs, as he only managed 8 catches for 58 yards and 0 touchdowns. It was even more rough for him as he had 6 targets in Super Bowl 53 and wasn't able to catch any of them. With a 3-year contract up and the clear showing of Belichick wanting to move on, Hogan left as a free agent, signing with the Panthers, and that was... woof. Those numbers don't look great compared to before. Also, a quick side note, while looking for footage for his time in the Panthers, which was really hard to find, there really wasn't much of anything, I did find quite a bit of hype surrounding his signing with the Panthers and news around his injury and his return from the injury. There's more reporting on his signing and his injury with the Panthers rather than, actual highlights from him actually playing with them. Doesn't help that he was put on injured reserve and being inactive between October and December. Injuries seemed to be the trend for this portion of his career as he signed with the Jets, playing 5 games before being placed on IR again and being waived upon his return. He wouldn't finish his final season where he signed with the Saints as he retired October 23rd of the 2021 season. Whilst his success in the NFL was brief, he surely made the best of it, being a 2-time Super Bowl champ and, at least from my perspective, signing a pretty big contract on the idea of what he could have been. He could have been the Edelman of the future if he didn't deal with injuries during those last few years of his career. Even still, he lit it up when he was given the opportunity, holding the single game receiving record for the Patriots. Thanks for watching, and as I close up this video with this record-breaking game for the Patriots, if you're a Steelers fan watching right now, look away, because it's going to be a brutal reminder for what he did in the 2016 Conference Championship. I've been Nick Bolas, and thank you very much for watching. Notable names that have the grace of this honor have been Wes Welker, Danny Minula,